Welcome back to Your Average Witch, where every Tuesday we talk about witch life, witch stories, and sometimes a little witchcraft. This week I'm talking to Tabitha of Two Geminis and a Leo. Tabitha runs Backwoods Brews and Botanicals, and she talks about kids, clairaudience, and a little about how to stay safe in the woods of Appalachia. Before we get started, here's a word from this week's sponsor, The Finch and the Forest. The Finch and the Forest specializes in magically handcrafted, spiritually inspired amulets, curios, and botanicals. Based in the Mississippi River Bend of the Midwest, Emily Fink launched The Finch and the Forest to combine her lifelong passions for jewelry making and gardening alongside storytelling. She enjoys making jewelry with one-of-a-kind tumbled stones so that each piece is truly unique, and loves being able to craft plants from her garden into various curios and botanical products. To shop, visit thefinchandtheforest.com and use the coupon code AVERAGE for 10% off your entire purchase. You can also find The Finch and the Forest on Instagram and Facebook, where Emily highlights her products intertwined with magic and mythology. The Finch and the Forest is eager to serve you on your spiritual path, so visit thefinchandtheforest.com today. Now let's get to the stories. Hi Tabitha, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. Can you please introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are and what you do and where they can find you?
Yeah, so my name is Tabitha. I am, obviously, and I am...
What if it wasn't? What if I was just
what
like
if
saying
it's not my
things?
name. I have everybody fooled.
Yeah.
But I am the owner of Backwoods Brews and Botanicals, and I am also the one half of the Geminis on Two Geminis and a Leo, the astrology podcast. And you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you get your podcasts. And Backwoods is also on Facebook and Instagram and Etsy. So on Instagram, Two Geminis and Leo, we're on Instagram at Two Geminis and a Leo. Facebook, Two Geminis and a Leo. We also have a brand new Astro Lounge, a new Facebook group. Yeah, we have a new Facebook group.
I'm in that. I just didn't realize that's what it was called.
Yeah, we can't. I think it was Teresa that came up with the name Astro Lounge. So it's Two Geminis and a Leo, Astro Lounge, which I thought is very fancy. And then on Instagram for Backwoods, it is at Backwoods Brews Botanicals, and Facebook is Backwoods Brews and Botanicals. And
Neat.
on Etsy, it is Backwoods Brews.
It's always weird the way they make you do things, though.
It is. I'm trying to work on a website so I can kind of steer away from Etsy, but it's also
expensive
so
and
convenient.
hard.
It is so expensive, but it's convenient, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm lazy
so
and
convenient.
Etsy is easy.
Yeah, exactly.
What made you get into teas?
So herbalism is so first of all, I guess, like, going back, I've always been very connected to nature, and I've always liked to find different things in nature. I don't know much about foraging, to be fair, but like I used to like find things and like collect them. And eventually, COVID happened, and there was like a lot of, I had kids, they started getting sick every like December. For whatever reason, December is like our month to get sick. Everybody is sick all of December for whatever reason. But like, I don't know, with the kids getting sick and stuff, it just, a lot of the I didn't want to shove just random medicines that I had no idea what were in them, like, down their throats and stuff, you know what I mean? So I started I started really doing some research into herbal remedies and stuff, and a lot of the things I just really resonated with teas. I love tea. I love drinking tea. But I am I'm looking into expanding past teas and stuff like that. But I really just like the herbal remedies, and it makes me feel a lot better knowing the things that I put into my body and, my kids' bodies. And
Yeah.
yeah, it just feels, it's safer. It feels safer to me.
What does it mean to you when you call yourself a witch?
I think it means something different to every person. To everybody that calls themselves a witch, I think it means something different. To me, it means being connected. And whether that's to nature, to spirits, to the collective consciousness, to whatever you find yourself connected to, I think that it's really diving into that connection and using the energy of whatever you feel connected to make the world a better place. That's what I really It was really kind of cheesy, but I think that's really, for me, it's just being connected and using that connection to just really enhance the world around you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any family history with witchcraft? Or do you look back and think, wow, nobody said they were a witch, but they went out and collected stuff and like tied things and put things in the fridge, in the freezer?
um so not well, not really, not certain like, I don't know. It's we had the spiritual side. Like the my grandmother had visions. Like my mom used to get um like intuitive feelings, and just really used to, and I used to be, as a kid I was clairaudient. So it
Oh,
was crazy.
no.
Oh my
That sounds
god, it was the
terrible
worst.
for a kid.
So it was because I was young, and it lasted up until my teens, and I really blocked it out because I thought I was legitimately schizophrenic.
Oh,
But it would almost sound like it would be like I would just be in my room, like just hanging out, and it would almost sound like I was in a um like in a like in a crowded room, almost like I almost imagine it like a ballroom. And like there was like a dull roar of conversation. Like nobody was like yelling or anything, but it was just like a lot of people talking at one time. But I could never understand what anybody was saying. And then all of a sudden I would hear my name, and
absolutely not.
it was, and I thought I was like, "Oh my god, I'm hearing voices. That's it. I'm crazy." And I ended up blocking it out.
I hate
Um
that for, I'm going to say us as in witches, but I hate that
that's
for us that we usually end up fucking up the shit we can do
exactly.
because nobody wants to, oh, you're a witch. Ha ha. What are you going to Hogwarts? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
No, I'm hearing voices, asshole.
I'm hearing voices. Oh my god. Yeah, no. So it sucks because like I didn't have anybody, well, I didn't really tell anybody, but even if I would have told somebody, like I didn't really have anybody that would have sat there with me and like been like, "Okay, like this is what it is. Let's embrace that a little bit," because now it's so hard to get it back.
Yeah.
Like I'm not anymore, and I've been trying to work on, the clairaudience thing, but it hasn't really, it's, I think it's going to be really difficult to get it back.
And as for everyone listening who is immediately thinking, you're a dumbass, you're putting people at risk. I'm not saying don't use mundane means to see if people or your kids are schizophrenic,
Right.
but
Right,
also don't
absolutely.
just tell them that they're schizophrenic.
Right.
Maybe listen to what they're
Right.
telling you.
No, absolutely. Like if there's a concern, definitely obviously get them. I'm not a medical professional. Don't listen to me. Don't take my advice.
My brother
But
actually is schizophrenic.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but is
it's
he,
got to be
or
so hard.
it's a misery.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
so I'm not saying, oh, everybody who hears voices is just a witch hearing their ancestors or whatever. No,
Right.
I understand some people are schizophrenic,
Right,
but not all
absolutely.
of them are.
No, and like schizophrenia shows up in many different ways and stuff like that too. So I
Yeah.
mean it's yeah, please please don't. It's
Let's not get canceled.
no, I'm gonna please don't cancel me. I'm not I'm not trying to give anybody any sort of medical advice, but yeah, it was looking back on it now, it was more of a, I would hear it like I actually did have an experience at Anahata's
Hmm.
this past year, a little clairaudience experience that that I wish I could like take back because that was not a fun time for me.
What was up with it this year?
I
Everybody had trouble.
don't I have no idea, but mine was it it was terrifying. It was literally it was terrible because I actually grew up around Anahata's. Like my high school is 5 minutes up the road from Anahata's. And so I am familiar with little things, like little superstitions. And I guess that this kind of goes back to that question that you like, do you have any family history? Like, no, but I know like the legends, like don't go wandering in the woods by yourself at night. I did it anyway, but not at night. But like, there's things that you're not supposed to do, right? And if you hear something coming from the woods saying your name or
Jesus.
what's up, like, no, you didn't. You didn't hear it.
If that happens to me, that I will, because I forget that
I've
things are bad,
never.
and I'm gonna go, oh, somebody just called me in the woods in the
Hello.
middle of the night. Who is that? What do
Hey,
you
what's up?
want?
Yeah, no,
And then I vanish forever.
Kim's gone. It's so funny because I never had that experience until Anahata's this year. And I always thought I would do the same thing, but initially like my fight or flight like kicked in.
Good.
Oh, and immediately I was about to be like, no, I was about to go like, hey, no, I know. But then I was like, nope, best way, just walk away. But yeah, I was walking back from the bathrooms because I was camping at Sky Hill, and I was just walking, and I heard something like there was like a little like I was walking like right next to the woods, and I heard something like the woods was on like my direct left, and I heard something go, hey.
Oh no.
And immediately I was like, oh, I like stopped for like a millisecond. Like I paused for like not even a heartbeat, and then I was just like, nope, and I just walked. Like I just walked fast. Cause like don't run, just walk really fast past. Just walk back to the campsite. And I immediately went and told two
Everyone.
of the people there. What? Well,
Everyone.
I
Pickles
went
Street or
to
whatever it was.
yeah, it was Pickle Place. Pickle Place. I went back to Pickle Place and I was like, yo, no. I pulled I don't know if all right, I pulled Summer aside and ended up speaking to Summer and Corey, and I was like, this is what happened. I know you guys know.
Summer and Corey had a busy Anahadas.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So I told them, and I was just like, hey, this is what happened. And it was right before the full moon ritual. So they knew what to do better than I did, so they handled it.
Okay, after all of that.
Yeah.
Can you let us know, do you have any regular or consistent practices, like daily things you do, or if not daily, just consistent?
I do try to pull a card every day. I'll at least try to do that. But if I can't do that, I do some intention, like in my coffee or my tea or whatever I'm having that morning. I do try to put some intention into it. But it's so funny because I had somebody at one point call me an off the cuff witch. Like I'm very like not consistent. And it sounds bad, but I'm very not consistent. Like it's kind of because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have the podcast, I have Backwoods, and I have, in between that and like school stuff, I'm pretty busy. So I really need to be better about setting time aside for a daily practice. But most of the time it's just whatever I can do, whether it's putting the intention in the coffee or being able to pull a card every day, or even just sitting and taking a couple of deep breaths. Like that's what I try to fit in a daily practice as much as I can, but sometimes it's hard, so I'm not very consistent, but I try.
Yeah, I think if I had anything at all happening in my life more than I have now, I couldn't even do the small thing that I do in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard, especially because like I get the kids up and I wake the kids up and it's like a it's a rush from the second I get the kids up to, making their lunches for the day and, making them breakfast, getting them dressed, getting them off to school. Um, and then after that, a lot of the times, like I'll be running errands during the day so that I don't have to drag them around with me when I go out in public. I can just kind of, you know, go do my errands, grocery shopping, whatever I have to do. And it's just, sometimes it's hard to really set aside the time to do the daily practice that I want to. I want to have a really good daily practice, like a solid foundation. And I need to be better about time management and really like scheduling time for that.
God, I can't fathom having children. Cannot.
I
I can't deal with it.
it's so funny because yeah, it's a lot and it's stressful. For sure. There's a lot of things that come up and there's a lot of things like you're always trying to do your best just as a parent and it's not easy. It is not easy. But it's rewarding for me. Like I really enjoy and I know that
I would
obviously it's
hope.
not for everybody.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's really rewarding. It's not it's yeah. I love it. I love them more than anything. So, I love my children. I love them very much. Sometimes I have to tell myself that I love them. I have to remind myself of that. Like I love them and I don't need to like just leave. But
Good for you.
yeah, I try. That sounds so bad. Sometimes you
Not
gotta
to
hide in the
anyone who
bathroom
actually
and
has
cry. I
children.
mean,
If anyone
sometimes that
actually
happens.
has children, it does not sound bad. It sounds relatable. I
Yeah.
guarantee it.
Yeah.
I don't even
No,
have
I
kids, and sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I could just like not do this.
know.
I want a
Yeah.
different life.
Yeah.
Would
That's
you
funny.
say that witchcraft has changed your life?
I would. I would absolutely say that because I don't know. I feel like I've been a lot more open um, to like hearing other people's experiences. And like here, I really like learning about like other people's practices and hearing what they do. And but it's also made me like just connect with nature more and really try. I'm really working on right now trying to stay off the phone or stay off social media or whatever. Um, And it's hard too, but, like, for that because I know a lot of people just kind of what do they call it? Doom scrolling
Yeah.
or whatever, where you're just like you just kinda dissociate, and that's what I do is, like, I just dissociate, I just scroll on my phone. But I'm really working on trying to get away from that, and witchcraft is helping because I'm very nature-based in my practice. I guess I'm a little bit more, I lean more, I guess, to the folk side of things. Um, but yeah, I witchcraft has definitely been helping me like be more present and just open myself up to other people and other people's experiences and really kind of try to um see things from others perspectives, which has really been eye-opening.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Witchcraft is what's making you do that.
Well, yeah.
I like that.
Well, thank you. I used to be pretty like set in my ways and stuff like that, and now I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, and that includes like learning about others and um herbs and like I love learning. I'm a Gemini. I love learning. I'm a Gemini with a Sagittarius rising. Like I love to learn shit. Um so yeah, it's just yeah,
What
witchcraft
would you
has
say
been
is
go ahead. Sorry.
no, you go.
No, I just witchcraft has just been really eye-opening. That's all.
What would you say is the biggest motivator in your practice?
I'm gonna give the typical parent answer, but honestly, it's true. Is my kids. I wasn't raised in witchcraft. I wasn't um like, brought up. I was brought up in a moderately Christian, household, and um I've really kind of broken away from that, and it's being open, like helping my kids, really helping like my daughter is very, very much a loud and proud witch. And she will tell everybody that hears it. And really and she thinks it's like the best thing ever, and it's so sweet, like seeing her, like she's so funny. She anytime I'm doing any sort of witchcraft, I really want to keep my like practice going, not only for me but for her, because she's just so inspired by it, and it's really, I think, helping her to step out of her comfort zone a little bit, and just, I guess being a good like role model for that, really trying to step into my practice, because I didn't start until later on in life, and like this way she gets to be, you know growing up around it. And yeah, it sounds cheesy, but that's the biggest motivator, is my kids, and like just being able to have them like come to me about any sort of questions or anything that they have, revolving around witchcraft or anything really. But just specifically with this question, I'm trying to be a good role model.
Do you ever feel like you have to deal with imposter syndrome?
All the time. All the time. It's not easy to it's not easy to break past that. But yes, it's and a lot of the time, like when that comes up, I'll kind of rely, and this sounds kind of silly, but I'll like rely on my friends and those like around me, and like I'll ask, like, or if I have a question, or if I'm just like, man, I'm just really not feeling like I'm doing that good. I feel like I'm just like, what if I'm faking this? Like, what if I'm not really, what if this isn't, what if what if I'm going crazy, or
Yeah, what if I
some.
really am crazy?
Yeah. um it's nice knowing that, like, a lot of I'm very lucky, and I have a coven of people who are just amazing, and a lot of the times, like, I don't even have to ask them or say anything, and they'll remind me, like, of really nice, like Teresa, my co-host, all the time. I'm like, every once in a while I'm like, are my teas really even like helping people? And
Aw.
it's yeah, well, she'll message me, and she'll be like, your sick day tea saved my life today. And it's just every once in a while, like, that's just it's I'll go back and listen to those messages every once in a while, and I'll just be like, okay, so I'm at least helping one person with my I'm at least helping one person. So yeah, that's what I do to beat it.
You turn to your friends
Yeah, my
who tell
friends and
you
my
to quit
husband.
talking shit about yourself.
Yeah, be nice to my friends. Yeah, that's what they say.
Good.
Yeah.
What brings you the most joy in your practice?
Oh. Um, I was trying to think of an answer other than my kids. um, because I really do love working. My daughter is more into it right now than my son is, but I really do love working and doing like spell work with my daughter, because she just loves it. Um, but the most joy, I think, is just really when I have like a good, and I haven't meditated in a really long time, but like a good meditation, that's when I'm like, okay, Like, I am a real witch, guys. Like, I have this is like a really good and I only get like, again, I haven't meditated in a really long time, and that's something I definitely need to get back to. But yeah, it's when I have a really good meditation or like a spell that just kind of goes the way that I wanted it to. Um, but on the opposite, I guess, kind of end of that, I have a really snarky tarot deck that I pull from.
Hmm.
And this thing it's the Wild Unknown tarot deck. And it was the first deck I ever bought. And this deck it brings me joy in like the weirdest way because it is snarky and it is sarcastic. And it's like if I pull a card, for example, and this happens consistently. But if I pull a card and I'm just like, I'm really not understanding, like this doesn't resonate with me. Like this card for whatever reason just doesn't resonate. Like this has nothing to do, I'm just not I'm not picking up what it's putting down, right? We're not on the same wavelength. Consistently it will throw out the 9 of Swords. Like, okay, that doesn't resonate. Here's anxiety and insomnia and like bad dream. I bet this fucking resonates. Excuse my language. But like, I bet this resonates, doesn't it? This one right here. Yeah, the other ones didn't, but this one will. And consistently, that's what happens every time. I'm just like, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. It's like, okay, well, understand this here.
That's rude.
It is so rude, but it brings me joy because I'm just like, okay, like,
think harder, bitch.
I think it's so funny. Honestly, I just laugh at it now because I'm just like, okay, I see you. I understand. I will look into the other cards a little bit more. Sorry. It brings me joy because it just makes me laugh, honestly. I know that sounds weird because the 9 of Swords is like really dark, but
yeah, I don't like looking at that card.
No, it's very in the
It's my life. Oh, good. Something's terrible and I'm crying at night. Awesome.
Insomnia and anxiety. Great. Yeah. Yep. Anxiety keeps me up at night. Thanks so much for that. But it just makes me laugh because it's just like, okay, that didn't resonate. This does. Like, just funny.
Oh, you don't want a message. You just want to resonate. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's funny. Yeah.
You made me think of something, though, going back to working with your kids.
Yeah.
That is seems like a little way to secretly, like a little intention battery, because kids, at least witches' kids, haven't been taught or trained that, hey, things aren't real.
Right.
They don't know. So all that intention, their like
Right.
honest belief and certainty that this will work goes into your work.
Absolutely. And that is something that, like, and it just that little bit of confidence and like, hey, I can do this has just been so, big. And my kids feel like they can come to me about anything too. Like, which is really nice. Like things that like people would be like, "Oh my God, like I feel like I'm crazy." And this has been proved. My daughter came up to me and she said, "Mommy, I feel like there was somebody standing behind me in the kitchen."
Gross.
And yeah, she said, like, and she described it like to a T. She described this. It was crazy. But she said, I felt like there was, like, she said, I was in the fridge getting a yogurt and there's like a hallway right near the kitchen. And she said, it felt like when I was getting this yogurt that there was somebody that was peeking around that corner from the hallway. And it felt like somebody came up behind me, was just standing right behind me. And like, I went into, mama bear mode at first, but like she felt comfortable coming to me about that was the biggest thing. Is like she wasn't like, okay, I feel like I'm going crazy. There wasn't anybody there, but I felt this, like it felt like it in this way. She can like, and my son's getting there too, but
yeah, you're treating your inner child by helping your own kids.
Exactly.
Good
that
for
is
you.
That is a big yeah. I'm trying to help them, like, make sure that they don't
get a loner kid at some point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Don't anybody freak out. What is your favorite tool in your practice? It doesn't have to be a
Um,
physical object.
oh, my hands.
Oh,
My
good
hands.
one.
Yeah, I was I actually just came up with that like right up, but that makes the most sense. Honestly, it was funny because I was gonna say like my herbs and stuff like that, but honestly, it's my hands because there's so much that I do, like that I use my hands for because I don't use a ton of like physical tools. I don't have a wand. I do have an however you want to say it, athame, whatever, a
Knife.
knife. Yeah. The pointy thing. I have one of those. I have a pointy thing. Um but I actually don't typically use I don't use it the way that like you use a typical athame. I use it to like to cut up herbs and stuff. But anyway, I I like working with my hands because I do a lot of energy work with my hands and I always obviously always have my hands with me. And that's sometimes all you need to do any sort of spell or any sort of energy work or intention.
Sorry.
What? No, go ahead.
I was just no, I was just thinking, what if you didn't?
Oh my god, I've just left. Sorry guys, I can't do anything. I left my hands at home. Or shit, I left my hands in my
Oh my
car again
god.
all the time.
Yeah. The kids hid one of my hands.
Oh, damn kids.
Sorry, that just I don't
No,
know why that
that's funny.
popped in there.
No, I like that. Left my hands at home. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, my hands. As long as I have them with me.
If you have them.
If I have them. If you Yes. If you have
Like your
them.
eyebrows.
Like your eyebrows.
If
That's
you could
funny.
only recommend one book to a new witch, what would it be?
Oh my god. That's so hard because there's so many. There's so many. So one I've been looking into. I haven't read it yet, so don't at me. But it was recommended by Margot, who I trust with books. Um with anything book recommendations. But one thing I've been looking into is Six Ways. Another one, and this is pretty specific, but it's Folk Witchcraft, a guide to lore, land, and the familiar spirit for the solitary practitioner by Roger J. Horn.
Okay, that's my deal. That's my jam. So I'm going to be
It's so good,
putting
and
that on my list.
it's a small little book. It's not huge compared to others, but I've been really leaning into the folk side of things. That's where my practice ended up really kind of moving into. So, and I think that that's an excellent book.
Now, I know we went over imposter syndrome and how yucky that can
Mhm.
make you feel. When you get into a magical slump or a low period, how do you pull yourself back up?
I just did this. And it's funny because I was talking to Margot about this, and she like we were talking about it, and I was just like, I have been in such a slump lately. So what I'm doing right now is I am just cleaning my altars. I am cleaning and redoing my altars. And it takes some effort. Like I had to push myself to get up and really do that, but just cleaning my magical areas um and just redoing them. And that's something that really kind of like was like a breath of fresh air basically. Like, whew, okay, like this has been updated. I did this. Now I can really do the other things that I need to do to get because
Hmm.
it was like a couple of months was that I was it's been a while that I was just in this slump and I just really couldn't break past it, and all I did was just redo my altars and left some offerings for um my patron deity and my house spirits and
That sounds like a lot of things.
It
Honestly.
well, it honestly, I don't have a ton of altars, and they're all very small, and they're not super cluttered. So it's not a ton, it's really just taking everything off and dusting them is where I started. I just took everything off, dusted it, and rearranged it, and that's all. And it doesn't it wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. And it sounds like a lot more than it actually was. But yeah, just dusting, almost like dusting off, like, okay, this is my
The miasma.
yeah, yeah. Like
Clear that shit out.
taking out the inner box, the taking out the box of your inner witchcraft and just kind of dusting off the top and opening the box again. You
Yeah,
know?
like when you're going through your closet and you find something from like 10 years ago and you're like, "Oh, remember that."
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah, that's kind of the way that I looked at it. And
That's cool.
yeah, thank you.
Do you ever work magically with other witches?
With my coven, I do. Yeah. We've done a couple of um well, our coven. I shouldn't say my coven. Our coven. But yeah, we've done just a couple of things, like not all the time, but yes. And then a lot of the time with my daughter. Her and I will do a lot of spell work together.
Cool.
Yeah. My son too. My son likes to help me when I ward the property.
Yay, that's good.
Yeah, cuz I usually what I do is I make little jars of, and I don't really have like an ingredients thing of like what I do. I just kind of intuitively make these little jars and I put them at the four corners of the property. Um Pick up the old ones and then bring those in to reuse them. And I use like the glass mason jars because those just seem to like hold up. They hold up better. But I always like, because I know that that's pretty controversial, but I always like replace them and take the ones that I already used and I wash them and I cleanse them and stuff like that. But my son really likes to help me because while I'm doing that, I'll be carrying like I usually use like cedar to cleanse. Um and or dragon's blood, or um I have a couple of sticks of Palo Santo that people have sent me. So I use like the Palo Santo. I usually bring like Palo Santo and like dragon's blood or cedar and carry that around as I walk the four corners of the property. And my son likes to help me do that.
Hmm.
Plus he's able to get into the woods a little bit where I can't. So I have to pick him up
Oh,
over the
that's good.
fence. I have to pick him up over the fence. I'm like, go get the other jar and put this one down. So, but yeah, I work with my kids a lot.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Who would you say are the three biggest influences on your practice? Who or what?
Oh man. I feel so bad saying this again, but my kids, 100%.
They're your children.
Yeah.
They should be glad you're mentioning them at all.
I don't have much of a life, so outside of my kids. No, my kids definitely because again, like I'm just trying to be like a good role model in a lot of ways, and the witchy side of it is a big thing that at least to my daughter for right now. She's very into it. So I'm trying to be a good like so them, my kids. Herbs are a big thing for me. They influence. I actually base a lot of um my practice around herbs and like different properties of them. And then big influence, my I guess just intention. I know that was probably these are things that but yeah, those are probably the biggest influences on my practice are my kids, my herbs, and my intentions.
Hmm. That's interesting. No, more another answer other than, I mean, family, but that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Do you have any advice for any new witches?
I already said this, but in my opinion, start with protection. Make sure you know how to protect yourself, what to protect against. Be specific.
Oh my gosh.
Learn from me, be specific, in everything that you do, or be as specific as you can. And yeah, definitely just protect yourself. That's the biggest thing.
Who do you think I should have on the podcast next?
This one was really hard. This was difficult. I really like um Jake Richards' books.
Dude, yeah.
I would
You're
love
like
to
the second or
hear
third person to say that.
from Jake Richards,
I'm trying to
100%.
find out how to contact him besides his Instagram, which I'm
Yeah.
sure is full of scams. So
Yeah,
I don't
full of
want
all
to
kinds of
contact him
shit.
through Instagram.
No, absolutely. No, yeah, I would love to hear from Jake Richards.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that I didn't ask, or anything you wanted to ask me?
I don't have any sales happening, but I am coming out with I'm working right now on for teas and stuff. I'm working on a deity line of teas. Two Geminis and Leo is going on tour with Waba,
Yeah, that's
which is really
exciting.
cool.
Can you tell us anything about that?
So we're looking at mid-April. And we're going to be in the Northeast. So we're looking into Philly and New York for right now.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. It's so fun. So we're really excited about it. We just got to look at we just finished up the poster like last week. Okay, Seka from Seka Artistry. She did it. She's amazing. Seka's amazing. The poster turned out absolutely incredible. I can't wait to share it with everybody. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Neat. Do you know how many shows you're going to do?
We're looking, I believe, at 4.
Cool.
4 shows. Yeah. Yeah. Very exciting.
Everybody in
Over
the
about 2
Southwest
weeks.
has envy.
It's so
when
interesting.
is Beanfest Southwest happening?
Listen, when it happens, let me know. I'll try and come down.
Gem show.
Gem show. I wanted to go so bad. I wanted to go so bad this year, but it didn't work out. And
I'm telling everybody 2024 is the year we're going to rent a house, and it's going to be a fancy house.
Okay, sign me up. I'm in for Gemso 2024. 100%. Because that's like I wanted to go. I wanted to go for the Tucson Gem Show for such a long time, but it just never worked out. 2024. I'm planning now.
Cool.
Marking it off on my calendar.
Now at the end, I ask 2 questions.
Okay.
Kind of, actually, I don't ask. I just say, do it.
Okay.
Recommend something to the listeners.
Ooh, recommend something. So I heard you. I was listening to the one with Margot, the interview that you did with Margot, and you were like, recommend your stuff. So I'm going to recommend the Two Geminis Leo podcast.
Good.
And Backwoods Brews and Botanicals for your teas. But also, I'm going to recommend a good pair of shoes. I have a really good pair of shoes. I really thought
you were going to say parachute.
Well, like, yes, wow. Definitely. If that's something you're into, definitely make sure that you have a really good parachute. But yeah, get you a good pair of shoes. Get you a good pair of shoes. You know, it feels different for everybody else, but I don't know. I have a really comfy pair of shoes on today, and I recommend that everybody get them a good pair of shoes.
Cool.
Yeah. I know. I've been given some weird answers.
That is one of the more unique ones. Finally, please tell me a story that you love to tell. Tell me your gathering story that you tell around a campfire or at a family reunion.
So this was one that my mom used to tell me. It's not really like one specific story. It's about a person. my Aunt Ruby, my great aunt, my mom's aunt. I never got to meet her. But my mom used to tell me, and like anybody else that would listen, that her house was haunted as fuck. Like it's and so her and my great uncle Malvin were very they were very well off, and they never had or they did have kids. I'm sorry, they had 2 kids. I lied. I never met them, but their kid after their kids moved out, like they ended up just they had like this big ass house, and my mom said that like there was a plant room in this house, and she
Neat.
never but my mom was too terrified to go past the kitchen, like to look around the rest of the house by herself
What?
because it was so haunted. And she said it was so funny because like she's seen like glasses like fly off at the wall, and my Aunt Ruby was a boss and just started yelling at them and was like, "Don't you fucking throw things in my kitchen," this that. Like she would tell these ghosts off, like tell them like just give them what for if they ever tried to mess around with her. And then my mom said I guess one of her cousins, one of Ruby's kids, was like staying with her and saw some sort of spirit like in the hallway, just kind of standing there at the end of the hallway. So she screamed for my aunt, for my great aunt, and my great aunt just like grabbed her hand and just walked right through it. Like just didn't even care. Like she would give
I don't
them
have time for this. It's just this apparition. Just walk through it.
my mom always said, and like it just kind of it puts things in perspective. She said that my Aunt Ruby had the mouth and the attitude of like a truck driver. Like is the way that my mom used to put it. But yeah, they would so they would go to their house down in Florida, and she would tell the spirits to like take care of her plants. And like she'd come back and her plants would be like thriving and totally fine.
So she bossed her ghost.
She did. And she said that there was only ever one time that she was scared of anything that happened in that house. And I guess she was taking laundry up to the attic, and the attic was just some sort of
which are skeevy.
Yeah. Well, so they had a psychic come in and say that there was some sort of like serious like energy vortex portal thing up there in the attic where it was just, and that's why her house was so haunted supposedly. But she was putting the laundry, I guess, was up in the attic, and she went to go up to the attic, and like something rushed her down the stairs.
That's rude.
And like while she was carrying laundry, and she like threw the laundry up in the air and like took off down the stairs. And that was the only time that she was ever scared. So I don't know, that's something that's like entertaining. Like I just imagine this, because she was all of like 5 foot nothing, and just my mom said that she was so scary that she was like, I don't blame the ghost for being terrified of her, because she was terrifying. Like I don't know, I always thought that was so funny hearing that as a kid.
Well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And everybody be sure to go check out Two Geminis and a Leo and Backwoods Brews.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So Tabitha, welcome to Patreon.
Thank you. Were you even like siblings if you didn't like do shit like that as kid? Yeah. No. No.
I didn't do anything. I just didn't.
Yeah, you just
didn't do anything.
Yeah, didn't offer any like, hey, no, don't do that. No. Yeah. Just
To hear more of the Patreon episode, head over to patreon.com/cleverkimscurios for a free 7-day trial. The $5 tier will give you podcast bonuses, videos, recipes, access to the Marco Polo and Facebook groups, and more. There are also tiers starting at $10 where you can get spell boxes, intentional handcrafted jewelry that I make especially for witches, and there's even a special crystal tier. Check it out at patreon.com/cleverkimscurios. Thanks for listening to this episode of Your Average Witch. You can find us all around the internet on Instagram at Your Average Witch Podcast, Facebook at facebook.com/YourAverageWitchPodcast, at YourAverageWitch.com, and at your favorite podcast service. Want to help the podcast grow? Leave a review. You can review us on Amazon and Apple Podcasts, and now you can rate us on Spotify. You just might hear your review read at the end of an episode. To rate Your Average Witch on Spotify, click the home key, click on Your Average Witch Podcast, and then leave a rating. If you'd like to recommend someone for the podcast, like to be on it yourself, or if you'd like to advertise on the podcast, send an email to YourAverageWitchPodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next Tuesday.